Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, Ontario. We are very happy that you could join us, and happy Father's Day! My name is Linda Toden, and I am delighted to guide you through the service today. All of our classes and services are made possible by your generous donations. Thank you very much. And now it is time for our opening prayer, which I have taken from the Daily Word. Please center yourselves and affirm with me. I give thanks for my Father and all expressions of fatherly love. I treasure my childhood memories of feeling safe when my father or a father figure in my life was nearby. I remember my father's encouragement as I was learning to ride a bike, as we explored the wonders of nature together, and as he taught me to use money wisely. Even when I made youthful mistakes, my father's sometimes stern but always wise judgment helped me find the way back to my right path. I give thanks for both the sacred human and the unfolding expression of God within my Father, and everyone who has blessed me with fatherly love. Today I pray for my father and for all fathers, affirming for each of them growing wisdom, understanding, and willingness to nurture others with a father's encouraging love. And the scripture from John 15:9 says, "As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love." Amen. And now, please listen carefully to this song sung by Eddie Watkins Jr., "I Am the Place God Shows Up."
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You
lives,
are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I
say, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Eddie Watkins, Pastor, can I have some more of that? Can we have some more of that? A little more? A little more.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Eddie Watkins! Good job, brother. Outstanding. Eddie Watkins, Jr.
Thank you, Eddie Watkins, for this beautiful song, so sincerely and earnestly presented. A blessing to us all. At this time, let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on the screen. We have a global vision, which is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. We have a sacred mission, which is we inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world. And we have a personal statement of being, which is I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. Our affirmation for this month is, my imagination brings possibilities to life. Would you repeat that with me, please? My imagination brings possibilities to life. And so it is. Amen. We are delighted to have Reverend Jim Lee back with us as our guest speaker today. Jim is an inspirational international speaker and teacher who served as the senior minister at Renaissance Unity in Warren, Michigan for 12 years and now serves as senior minister at Unity Las Vegas. His talk title today is The Divine Masculine, Holy Boldness in Action. Following his talk, Don Fouts will lead us in a meditation.
Hello, Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. So good to be with you again. It's been a while, and good to be with you. Thank you, Right Reverend David Old, for inviting me today. Well, today is Father's Day, and the title of my talk is The Divine Masculine, Holy Boldness in Action. Well, this divine masculine that I'm talking about is not just for men, even though men could really use this. This is a divine universal principle for everybody, men, women, everybody. So I invite you to open up your minds, open up your hearts, and celebrate with me this Father's Day with the divine masculine, which is holy boldness in action. And Lord knows we need it today. Open up all of your chakras so that this message can feed you today. Thank you for having me. Happy Father's Day. We're celebrating Father's Day. And we're doing it by stepping inside of the strength of what we call the divine masculine. Now, the divine masculine is a quality of the divine that includes being protective, it includes power, includes strength, it's including being grounded, it's including being courageous. And when you think of the greatest men in history, or just about the men in your life that are really potent and powerful, you notice that they have some similar traits that they all share. The essence of this divine masculine is both in men and women, really. It's not just confined to men. And the divine masculine really works good when it's complemented with the divine feminine. And together, they really make a powerful force. And what's lacking today is this divine masculine stepping up to the plate and being front and center. When I was at Renaissance Unity in Warren, Michigan, also is known as Church of Today before it changed the name, there was a men's group there, and during this men's group, we had an affirmation, and it was this: I am holy boldness and action. And we got all the men to say that. Matter of fact, we would shout it: I am holy boldness in action. So the question I have for you today: are you bold? Well, in our culture, generally we take a look at boldness from an egocentric point of view. Boldness has a connotation of being arrogant, rude, and sometimes even cocky. We see this a lot in the world today. In fact, this boldness is unholy. It really isn't holy. Now, this holy boldness that I'm talking about is anchored in an unshakable trust in the field of love, in the consciousness of the Almighty, and in the universal presence. That is what boldness is all about. And the essence of the divine masculine really comes out in this. Now, I guess it seems paradoxical how we can really get to this holy boldness, because in order to be holy and bold, we need to surrender and be humble. Seems kind of odd, but that's where we're going to get our strength and potency from. Well, you see, even an athlete or dancer, they must surrender to a physical discipline of exercise. And a musician, they must surrender to the discipline of daily practice. And as a spiritual person, we must surrender our mind and body to the soul and to the essence of the divine in order for us to be a powerful divine presence. You know, it reminds me of, some of you may have seen a few years ago, this series. It was called The Game of Thrones. And in it, they would say over and over again, bend the knee. And it was a kneeling where they were submitting to the king or the queen. When I'm not, no, we're not surrendering to anybody, any person, any particular thing. But it's like we are going to bend the knee and surrender our ego in a submissive posture to the Almighty, to the divine. In order to be bold, we need to surrender and be humble so that something else can actually take place. And what happens is, once we are surrendering to this infinite presence, out of the ego, tapped into the divine, three wonderful qualities will emerge to support us in our divine masculine essence, and that is confidence, fearlessness, and resiliency. Confidence, fearlessness, and resiliency. Let's take a look at the first one, confidence. Now I'm going to go to the 23rd Psalm, which I really like. The psalmist who wrote that really is talking about unshakable confidence. Right off the start, right out of the bat, from the very beginning, he says, the Lord is my shepherd, makes me to lie down. This God leads me beside still waters. This God restores my soul, and he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. So what this is saying, this psalm says confidence in God. In other words, God's got this. So this is what we're stepping into in order to be holy and bold. We surrender to the Almighty, and the confidence comes when we know with our mind and our heart and our soul, God's got this. God's got this. God's got this. You get this? Well, and then the psalmist goes on to say, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Notice something, he says, not if I walk, but when I walk. So we're all going to have valleys and shadows in life, but we know that whenever we do, we can face it. We can go through it. Why? Because God's got this. And so the first thing that I want us to do in order to bring out this divine masculine and to have this boldness in life is just take a knee or take a moment and surrender. God's got this. Say it in your mind, say it in your heart, and feel it in your body. God's got this. Now, what I'm really saying, and what the Psalm, the 23rd Psalm is saying, we do, but it is really not about us doing. It's more about God in and through us doing. So holy boldness comes from the confidence that not only God's got this, but God is moving in and through us once we surrender and relax into this divine flow. And our confidence becomes unshakable. So much so that I love the last part of this, and it says that we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And that means that God's got this, and there's no separation between us and God, period. Now, we may think that holy boldness, we need to be like an 8 on the Enneagram. Not so. Or we need to be a outgoing person, like an alpha male. Not so. Now look, like I said before, to be what I'm talking about, this divine masculine, this holy boldness in action, you could be male, female, you could be a part of the LBGTQ community. You just need to be a being tapped into the divine, and you, yes, you can access it. And it doesn't matter who you are. I really like this. The Apostle Paul was clearly holy boldness in action. Paul was a small man. He was only about 5 feet tall. And I understand when he spoke, he had kind of like a whiny, high-pitched voice. And he suffered from a physical ailment. Now, it appears that Paul, the Apostle Paul, was not a Paul Newman lookalike, nor did he have the voice of Morgan Freeman, but he was a powerful, supremely confident man. And that's all it takes. For he said, it is no longer I who lives, but the Christ who lives in me. So, what I'm inviting us to do in order to develop this divine masculine, to be in touch with the truth of who we are, I'm just inviting us to relax, realize, doesn't matter our size, doesn't matter our gender, doesn't matter if we have a physical disability or not. Just know this: God is with me. And because of that, you and I are holy boldness in action. That's your confidence. Next thing is fearlessness. Holy boldness means to live with confidence and fearlessness. Question I have for you: what do you fear? What do you fear? We've got all kinds of fears. All of us have it. I understand that in 1956, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was having a tough time. He had just gotten arrested, and the previous week he had had several death threats, and now he was getting ready to speak at a church rally. And just before he left, he got another death threat. He had acknowledged that he's starting to feel some fear. Well, something happened. He had delivered the message, and there was one lady, and her name was Mother Pollard. She came to him after he spoke, and he says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yes, I'm okay." He says, "No, you're not. I want you to know something. I told you that we are with you till the very end." Then Martin said a glow came over her face, and her voice became certain, and she became fully inspired. And she said to him, "If we don't have you, I just want you to know God's going to take care of you." Martin took a deep breath, he relaxed, and he allowed that to sink in. And that is a powerful way in which we can switch from this fear-based reality into a faith-based reality. There's an old saying that when fear knocks at the door, faith answers, and when it does, no one is there. Over and over again, we are taking a look at ways in which we can approach this fear. Lord knows we have a lot of it going on. If you look at the news, you can look at the conditions that are going on, both in the world or in the United States, but also in our lives. There's a lot of things that we can get us upset. When we take a look at another story in the Bible, in the New Testament, Jesus was in a boat and a storm comes up. And the disciples ran to him all afraid and woke him up. Jesus stood up and he said, "Hush, peace, be still." The wind stopped, the storm calmed down, and there was a great calm. And it was a great miracle, but there's another little metaphysical point that I wanted to point out to. And this was done so that the disciples could have an inner calm in the midst of the storm. That what they were able to do is have the divine presence in the midst of whatever's going on the outside. So holy boldness is bringing forth the faith in the Almighty, the faith in the oneness of God, the faith in the wholeness of God that is always there, even when there's a storm going on, we don't have to be fearful inside. And then the other thing, the last thing is resiliency. I'd like to use a simple definition of resiliency is the ability to be happy, successful, again and again after something difficult as bad has happened, to be able to bounce back. There was a coach at Auburn years ago, and he was called Coach Shrug. And he got one of his players, and he said, you know what I like to be able to do? I want you to help me do some recruiting. I need some good players. And his former player said, Coach, you can count on me. And the coach said, okay, now, this is what I would like. He said, you know, when we're in the game and a fellow, you know, he gets knocked down and he gets back up again, and then when you knock him down, he stays down, and the player said, yeah, coach, we don't want that kind of player, do we? Coach said, no, we don't want that player. He said, you know, there's another kind of player. When you hit him and you knock him down, he gets back up, and you hit him, he goes down again, he gets back up, but when you hit him the next time, he stays down. And the player said, we don't want that kind of player. Do we, coach? He said, no, don't want that kind of player. Then he said, there's this other kind of player. No matter how many times you hit him, he gets back up. And the player said, Coach, that's what we want. And the coach said, nope, we don't want him either. Well, what do we want? The coach said, I want the guy that keeps knocking everybody down. Well, in this spiritual principle, that's not the person that we want. We want the person that keeps getting back up, the resiliency. For you see, there's an old Baptist song, and it says simply that a saint is not someone who falls down, but one that keeps getting back up. So resiliency is because you have faith in the Almighty, because we are anchored in the truth and allowing the love of the divine coming through us over and over again, we can have life that may look like it knocks us down, but we can get right back up again. Affirmation time. I am resilient. I am unstoppable. That is the divine masculine. That is holy boldness in action. Now, we can get caught off guard, and especially I did. I did not know the pandemic was coming. It really threw me for a loop. Some of you may have had something that come up and it wasn't on your to-do list and it didn't pop up on your smartphone. When that happens, affirm, I am resilient, I am unstoppable, and even though something may tilt you one way or the other, you can bounce back because you have holy boldness in you. And Paul talks about this in 2 Corinthians and the 12th chapter, the 9th verse. He says, but he said to me, and that is God said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. And so this powerful sentence says, my grace is sufficient for you. God's power is made perfect even though we may be weak. We can pick ourselves up and move forward. Maya Angelou had a poem, and there's a couple of lines of it that I like, and it is this: you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. I'll rise. That's what we will do. No matter what happens, we will rise. So this Sunday we celebrate Father's Day, standing inside of this potent, divine, masculine, and we are now ready to move forward to no matter what happens. We know that the Lord is our shepherd, and we're holy boldness in action. And now, at Renaissance Unity, we had this affirmation. I said, I am holy boldness in action. I want to clarify something. When we say we are holy boldness in action, or I am holy boldness in action, it is not the human of me. It is the I am, or the Christ in me, that is this holy boldness in action. It is the Spirit within us that's holy boldness in action. And so as we celebrate this day, acknowledge the fact right here, don't wait until tomorrow, that who you are, it is alignment with the divine. Nothing can stop you. Nothing that can hold you back. You are holy boldness in action. That's a universal divine essence, masculine essence that's available to us, through us. But the most important thing as us, you and I, are holy boldness in action. The world needs us now. Your family needs you now. The United States needs us now, and the world needs us now. And we don't have to do big and major things. We can do simple things, just do it in an alignment with the power and the presence of the Almighty. Step forward. Be holy, boldness in action. Happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day. My name is Donald Fouts, and I'm honored to serve as prayer chaplain in Unity. Sunday church services at Unity, for me, are a time of weekly celebration. What that means is, as part of your Unity service, my role is to celebrate with you the message of God's love and the bond of love we share together in unity as collaborators. When I consider God as Father, I am reminded that it is impossible for the energy of creation to be a gender. The energy of creation is a collaboration of masculine and feminine, male and female. But for Father's Day, I celebrate with you those attributes of masculine points of nature, strength and power. As a father myself, I pray to balance strength and power with wisdom and love. For this guided meditation, we will go within and acknowledge gratefully Charles Fillmore, Father of Unity, who helps us to discover our innate gifts of strength, power, wisdom, and love. So if you'll close your eyes and let's find the breath. Take in a long relaxation breath and just notice. Give yourself permission to become present. Notice your position that you're sitting in. Notice your feet on the floor and the position of your hands and any sensation. In Charles Fillmore's work, we find the power of strength in the lower back. So just focus your energy on your lower back for a moment. And now bring to mind a time in your life that you knew you were strong. You knew that there was nothing that could waver you from the strength, physically and emotionally. This strength is available in every moment that we turn our attention and ask the question, where is my strength now? And surely Spirit will answer the call, and strength will be your gift. And now find the breath again, and in your own mind's eye, focus on the area of your throat. The gift of power is right here in the throat. You are clear about what is true for you, and easily you speak your truth, and you live your life from the power of knowing that you are connected to Source, and the words you speak are words of truth, and the life you live is bound to a life of truth, and power flows easily in your spoken words and the activity of your being. And breathe that in. And in this next breath, bring your attention to your brow point, also known as the third eye. And of course, intelligence comes in the mind, but wisdom is beyond intelligence. It's eternal, and it flows easily. And from the brow point, if you relax into this point of the body, moving beyond the body and beyond the mind, there is a field of peace, a field of potential. And out of this pure, infinite potential comes wisdom. And it is there without exception, simply asking, Spirit, move wisdom into my life, into the situation, into my relationships. And taking another breath in, move your focus and your attention now to your heart. And if you can imagine that you are surrounded by family and friends, those you know encourage your life. Accept the goodness that comes in the relationships of those we love. And out of the heart pours an energy, a light, a connection. All humanity is bound by one source, and this source is love. And if you can imagine this love moving easily from your heart to your family, to your friends, to your neighbors, to everyone you encounter, the blessing of love will manifest easily in every moment. And so find your breath again. Notice your position. Notice your body. Acknowledge that this indeed is a time of grace. And we are grateful for our fathers. We are grateful for the masculine of strength and power, wisdom and love. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday.
Once I was a little boy and half my father's size. A knight in shining armor was my father in my eyes. The only thing I wanted was to be just like my dad, to wear that shining armor like so many other lads. He began to teach me how to be a mighty man, how the armor saved him many times from injury and harm. Protection is important, son, in order to survive. You have to hide behind a shield to stay alive. Saying, whatever you may do, my son, wherever you may go, don't be unprotected, don't let your feelings show. Every man is for himself, on that you can rely. You'll have to hide behind a shield to stay alive. So growing up I learned the things my father knew so well. Preparing for the world I was protected by my shell. But mother sat me down, hear this before you go. There's something I should tell you, and it's something you should know.
Your father taught you well, my son, but one thing isn't right. You shouldn't go out on your own preparing for a fight. The armor's just a permanent affliction of his pride, and your father's never let no one inside. So whatever you may do, my son, wherever you may go, don't you ever be afraid to let your feelings show. And if you grow to be a man, I think you will have found it was the day you learned to let your armor down.
Just what to do, and foolish pride won't interfere with what he's going through. We'll wash him up with laughter, we'll rinse him off with tears, and we'll fill him up with love, and that'll last him all his years. Saying, whatever you may do, my son, wherever you may go, don't you ever be afraid to let your feelings show. And if you grow to be a man, I think you will have found it was the day you learned to let your armor
Whatever
down.
you may do, my son, wherever you may go,
Don't you ever be afraid to let your feelings show. And if you grow to be a man, I think you will have found it was the day you learned to let your armor
The day you learned to let your armor down.
the day you learn to let your armor down.
Thank you, Reverend Jim, for speaking here at Unity of Windsor. We are always grateful for your interesting and heartfelt talks. Please keep us in mind for a return visit. Thank you. I would also like to thank Don Fouts for leading us in meditation today. Today is the first time that I've ever heard this song called the Armor Song by David Roth, and I thank him so much for it. How appropriate for Father's Day And what good advice. Thank you again, David Roth, for giving us permission for using this very enlightening music and song. I would also like to thank everyone out there who continues to support this ministry with your time and generous donations of tithes and love offerings. Especially during these challenging times, we could not continue to provide our programs and services without your support. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. There are several ways to donate. We accept e-transfer or PayPal, sent to unitycenterwindsor@gmail.com. You can also click the blue donate button at the top of our website, which will take you to Canada Helps, a safe and secure site where you can make a one-time or recurring donation using a credit or debit card. Or you can send a check or money order to our office. For further information, visit our website at www.unityofwindsor.org. And thank you and bless you for your loving and generous support. Here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, we are exploring different ways to provide more online services, classes, and opportunities to meet virtually. Information about all of the upcoming classes and events can be found on our website at www.unityofwindsor.org. If you do not receive our weekly newsletter, please contact us and we will add you to our email list. And here we are coming to the end of our service today. I would like to thank you again for joining us. Let's open our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently to ourselves our love offering prayer, followed by the prayer for protection. Divine love, in me and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And now we have come to the end of our service. Thank you so much, Reverend Jim Lee, for such a wonderful talk. Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr. and David Roth, for your music. And I would also like to thank Mike Karloff for the opening and closing music of our service. Please join us directly after our service on Zoom for a fellowship and an opportunity to get to know you better. Reverend Jim Lee will be joining us on Conversations with the Minister on Zoom after the service at 11:30. I invite everyone to attend. Our newsletter has the link to Zoom, or you can just go to our website where you will find connection instructions. Also, please remember that members of our prayer chaplain team are available during the week to pray with you. Please email our office to request a prayer chaplain to contact you by telephone to arrange a convenient time. Thank you for joining us today and for your continued support. Have a wonderful week, everyone.